Welcome to the February 28th, 2017 Selectmen's meeting. I'd like to call the meeting to order at 6 p.m. Roll call vote, please.
Cindy King is present.
Gordon Clark, present.
And Carolyn Smart is present. Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to announce that the meeting is being video and tape recorded. Is there anybody from the audience that'll be as well? 1.4 Chairman's Additions and Deletions. This is a revised agenda. There was an addition added, 2.1.2, for program income for the MRPC agreement that was requested by the Board of Health today. So that'll be listed under appointments and hearings. 2.1 at 6 o'clock, we are meeting with Brian Keating from Massachusetts Regional Planning Commission concerning the CDBG application update. So I'd like to welcome Brian. You have the floor. Yep.
Okay, well, I hope I don't start sounding like a broken record. I've been here a few times. Thank you very much for having me come by.
Thank you for the work that you're doing on this.
Well, I appreciate it. It's a lot of fun, and we're excited about the prospect of having the grant here in Townsend. So we're getting close to finishing up the grants, the application. They are due next Friday, March 10th. So we have a checklist, and we're going through it. We call it board meetings because we have a big white board, and it has all the items we need to check off one by one, and so we're around that 3 or 4 times a day. So we are closing in. We feel very good that we'll have all of our documents in hand by early next week. We have a budget. So again, we are applying for housing rehab and fuel assistance. So it looks like we will have enough funding to do 15 housing rehab projects. That's, I think, last time I reported there would be 14, but we were able to squeeze another project out of there. Again, I want to let the people of Townsend know that the response was tremendous to the direct mailing that was sent out in the tax statements. Townsend, of the 4 towns, we're doing by far has the greatest number of pre-applications. So we have close to 90 pre-applications. Of that 90, 49, I actually went to the homes, did what we call a pre-inspection. So we have a lot of viable housing rehab projects, and that's going to look very good on the application because, of course, it shows a need, and that's the most important part of the application. So we are demonstrating the need, and of course the feasibility is demonstrated by the good folks of Townsend, the ability to implement the grant funds once they come in. Let's see. So for folks who haven't heard yet, the housing rehab is designed to help homeowners address repairs to violations of their of a health and safety code. So if there are any issues in your home that affect your health and safety, this could be a leaking roof that allows water penetration, which of course leads to mold and other damage. Could be a septic tank or a faulty heating system and hot water system, plumbing that's leaking, windows, drafty windows, old single pane windows, we replace a lot of those. So we are expecting to most of our projects to be close to the budget of $40,000. So these are major repairs that can be done in homes. And of course the fuel assistance program, we will have up to $750 again next year for 32 applicants. So if we have another warm winter like this winter, perhaps we won't use it all, but if it's another cold winter like we had 2 years ago, it'll come and I'm sure this will be a welcome form of assistance for the residents of Townsend. Okay, I've been working with Karen. She's got me a lot of forms that we will submit into the application as well, all the requisite documents required. I don't know if I can take questions if anyone has anything.
Does anybody have questions in the audience?
I may have visited a few homes here, I'm not sure, but, okay.
Brian, who's
Yes.
administering this grant? Which town?
Well, this is for Townsend, and MRPC, I'm sorry, I probably should introduce myself. I'm with the Montechusett Regional Planning Commission, so we are contracting with the town of Townsend to also administer the grant.
Oh, great.
Yeah, we're a single town applying for this versus the regional.
Oh, right,
Versus the
yes.
regional,
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
I know one year Shirley was our lead town, right, or
Yeah, like
Lancaster.
sometimes different towns will keep the lead.
Right, yeah, this
I
year
just
they
thought it was
changed the
more-
application around somewhat, and it was no longer advantageous to go in as a regional application or co-application.
It's become very
Thank you.
competitive, too.
Right, it is very competitive. That's why they did change the application. We're being led to believe they're doing it so that it opens up the process so that more towns will be successful. That's what we're hoping is the case.
One question I've had a lot from people is how you choose which people get the aid.
Okay, well, of course, as you know, it's a LMI, low moderate income, and so it'll be, I don't have the exact answer, but once we get to that point, it'll be a combination or a matrix of the higher the need, basically. So if the higher the need of the income, of course, in the home, when we say low to moderate income, that's divided into three categories: extremely low, very low, and low incomes. And also the nature of the repair itself. So someone who has no heat at all, their system is broken, that heating system is broken down, and they are unable to replace that. Of course, that would be higher than someone who perhaps may need I don't want to say windows, nothing is non-emergent, but there are something. So it'd be a combination of emergent situation, conditions, and the LMI score.
So you go through like a matrix and you score.
Sure, right.
So it's fair.
Right, and that's one good thing. I mean, I don't know many people personally in Townsend, so of
Right.
course there wouldn't be any, it would be a blind scoring.
Is there any priority set for folks that applied for previous grants but didn't get in the time?
Well, of course, we would go to the pre-apps first. Of the 90 pre-apps we took this year, now of the past application, we wouldn't consider those because that's not part of this application. But we would certainly look at the folks who responded in the pre-apps and give them a call first, send out, but of course it would be open up to the entire town.
Because I've heard a lot of folks say they were on a waiting list, so I didn't know if there was a waiting list from prior grants for people that weren't able to get into the...
Okay. Well, it's been several years since Townsend has had
It's
one.
the last two, I think, right?
So, I mean, I guess we were hoping that folks who thought they were on the waiting list would have responded to the pre-app, so I'm hoping that's the case. But again, of course, we will, open it up to everyone as soon as we find out the awards. Again, the awards should be made, I'm thinking it's going to be August before we hear anything.
Okay.
And we would start doing intakes, after some paperwork and other requirements from the state. We'll probably start doing intakes in, say, October, November, and work would start, maybe before Christmas, maybe the first of the year, and would go all through the year. So that is the time frame. We're looking about a year from now when work will be getting underway. But again, we would hope that. And during that time, we would certainly open it up to the town, make sure that everyone hears, and then press releases. I'd like to get on the cable access channel if at all possible, and do whatever we can do to make sure that everyone knows about the program. And again, of course, we're going to start meeting Monday night, correct?
Yeah.
After the 13th, so that's an opportunity for the town to work long-term, consider long-term, because CDBG happens every year. So, not many towns get it every single year, but the more citizen participation, resident participation in that type of steering committee, the stronger the application will be year after year. Again, we need to consider that Townsend is, on a scale of 1 to 10, it's a 6 in terms of its overall level of need. So that means we have to put together a stronger application than a lot of the towns that are scoring higher. Okay, so, but I think Cindy has worked hard to put together the steering committee, and so I'm looking forward to looking at long-term CDBG strategizing.
Karen's going to be appointed tonight, actually. Lucky her. So, Brian, since you're here, we got a request from the Board of Health. The Board of Health agreed to enter into the attached MRPC agreement at their meeting February 27, 2017. They respectfully request the Select Board sign off at their meeting on February 28th. Glenn and Lori Plode are in agreement with the scope of work, and Copeland and Page revisions were agreed upon by the Board of Health and incorporated into this document. Do you want to give an overview, or do you, Jim, who wants to explain what this is?
Sure. Again, this opportunity is somewhat related to CDBG. What happens, and of course in CDBG, the program, as homeowners are eligible to receive what we call a deferred payment loan when they receive the repairs on their homes. That is a zero-interest, non-paying loan for them in most cases. It's a 15-year loan. As long as the homeowners reside in their home for 15 years, that loan, just say it's a $35,000 loan, it's forgiven after 15 years. Now, in the instances where the homeowner transfers the home before that 15-year period, they are responsible for paying off a balance of that loan. Now, the lien itself is deferred 5% each year. So just say, again, we have a $35,000 loan, and after 10 years, that's 10%, 50%, so that's like $17,500 they would pay to the town. Usually people sell their homes, and they, out of the proceeds, pay the town. That income then becomes known as program income to the town, and it's encouraged by DHCD that this income or this revenue into the town is used for CDBG type projects. So I'm very glad to hear that Townsend has looked to respond to some emergency septic and well issues that have been brought to the attention of the Board of Health over the last several years. So this income is available, and that's a bonus to the CDBG program as I see it. So the Board of Health is collecting applications, or well, actually they're going to open this up to folks who have these septic and well repairs, and the MRPC will administer just as they would with the regular CDBG. We would put out an RFQ for contractors, hire, do a sealed bid process, and oversee the work and affect these repairs.
Do board members have any questions?
No, Madam Chair.
Do you just need a vote from us to enter into the agreement?
Yeah, and then you can get started on that.
Entertain a motion.
Make a motion that we enter into the agreement for the
Program and
program income with MRPC.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Do you have an original here, or do you want us to sign it? This one's, could we amend could we make another motion to sign it outside of a meeting?
So move.
Second, Gordon.
Second, I'm sorry.
All those in favor? Aye. Doesn't look like we have a clean copy. Yeah.
What is it you need?
It's got the...
Yeah, it's got all the
okay. I see,
changes
yeah.
on it, so I didn't want to sign this one.
Sure. Well, we have time. I don't think we'll be doing anything after next Friday anyways.
All right.
Before next
Take care of
Friday, I
it
should
then.
say.
Thank you very much, Brian.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. and,
Hopefully we get a lot of signatures for our grant application from this one here. We've got a lot of folks here, so.
Absolutely. The town is very responsive to our
It helps, it gives us points the more people that hear in the application itself.
Right.
I have 3 other sheets, sign-in sheets from prior meetings, too.
Oh, great. Yeah, all right, great. Thank you very much, Jim.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you Monday.
Okay, we're a little, oh no, we're right on time. 6:15, Kathleen Spofford, Town Clerk, the #1 dog tag contest.
So tonight we're going to pick the winner of the #1 dog tag. And I have my granddaughter Alexis to help us, and she'd like to call up 2 of her friends, Shannon and Kelly, to come and help her do this. So, Kelly, why don't you hold the blanket? And Shannon, here, hold this. Mix them up really good, and Lexi's gonna pull it out. And read the number.
217.
Okay, so number 217, that dog belongs to... Page. Okay. Jean Erda from 14 Horseshoe Drive. Jean's not here tonight, is she? Oh, that's too bad. She's got 2 dogs though, so I'm not sure which one it is. 214. It looks like her dog Nina. No? Not right. What number is it? Oh, 217. Okay, here we go. So 217. I can't read the lady. Can you read that? 217.
Was it my writing?
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Let's get it right so it's not like the Oscars here.
Not a clue.
Okay.
Delilah.
Delilah?
One of your dogs is Delilah.
Delilah.
Delilah. Okay, Delilah won. So we have this blanket here that you'll win as well as the #1 dog tag. So come on in the office. I will probably see you all.
Good job, girls.
Thank you, girl.
Okay. The next portion of our meeting is going to be 15-minute appointments, one with Kathleen Spofford, and the next with Barb Tierney, our tax collector treasurer, and then Richard Hanks, our building commissioner. And this is part of our new budget process policy that we're going to be passing, and folks have been paying attention. We've had discussions about it. We're actually going to give it the final approval tonight. It's going to start a lot sooner next year. Things that were sort of delayed, waiting for the budget projections to be finished, and we rolled those out about a month ago. So hopefully these budget hearings next year will be starting first thing in January. And what it is an opportunity for each department head to explain their budget to the public. This year they were asked for level funding. Well, maybe, the treasurer tax collector really needs more than level funding, and even if ultimately she doesn't get it at the town meeting, it's on record that explaining her need. So it's just a good opportunity for the public to hear from their department heads about their budget. It's not for a lot of discussion. The Finance Committee and the board members can ask questions. However, there's going to be no decisions made or anything like that. The Finance Committee will go back and meet and discuss the budgets separately in order to make recommendations for the community. So it's more just to get to know your departments, what their needs are, the direction they feel they want to go forward in, maybe their mission statements. That's all going to be incorporated into the budget documentation this year. So the first one up is Kathleen Spofford, and she's our town clerk. And for those that don't know, I am the assistant town clerk, so I will not be participating in this discussion. You're up, Kath.
Okay, what do you need to do?
Well,
What do you want to do?
ordinarily you just do an overview of your budget, maybe do your mission statement. It's always horrible being the first one up, but.
Right, because I don't know how, we've never done this before, so it's, all right, so my mission...
Excuse me, Madam Chairman, just so for the record here, I'll be taking over the chairmanship for this part of the...
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's going to be quiet over here.
So the town clerk's office strives to be the heart of town hall. We are there to serve the residents and the general public in a helpful and friendly manner. It serves as a central information point for local residents and citizens at large. The town clerk is the keeper of the vital statistics, the custodian of the town seal, administers the oath of office to all persons elected or appointed to any town office, and issues such licenses and permits as is required by law. We supervise and manage the conduct of all elections and other matters relating to elections. I serve as the clerk of the town meeting. I keep the town meeting records, and in the absence of the moderator and the deputy moderator, I'll preside in the election of a temporary moderator at the town meeting. So that's basically what my department is all about. Over the past year, we have updated our permitting process, and we're restructuring our filing system. We're still in the middle of doing that. That's quite a job. We've had the implementation of new voting equipment, which has been quite a success and has really worked out very well for us. And we've also had the state-mandated early voting for the presidential election, which was very successful. We had 2,600 voters come out and vote early for the presidential, which really cut down the traffic at the high school for the day of the election. And our goals for next year is to continue to establish procedure for the new public records law with all the department heads on board. It's been quite a process. There's been a lot of requests for public records, and tracking them isn't an easy task. We're going to try to publish as much information as possible on the website. We're trying to implement a new website, as you know, and so that will hopefully make it much easier for our department to do so. And the last thing is we're trying to reorganize both our vaults and dispose of those records we no longer need, and to try to reorganize according to the Municipal Records Retention Manual. So that's our goals for next year. And as far as our budget goes, we've done a level budget, except elections has gone down because we only have one scheduled election next year in fiscal year 18. So that has gone down quite a bit. And everything else has been basically level funded.
Thank you. Cindy, do you have anything?
I don't know if you covered this, but the early voting,
Yes.
what impact did that have on us budget-wise? Did the state reimburse us, or
The state only reimbursed us, I believe it was $600, if I remember right. And it probably cost, I think it was around $3,000 to implement the early voting period, because we had to have staffing there for the early voting, and that included all day Saturday. There was one Saturday involved, and we were open all day that day.
and how often when do we have to do early voting?
All state elections.
All state elections.
Yep, not the annual town election, not any special elections, but for the state elections.
Is that Cindy?
Yep.
Thank you. Mr. Crowley, do you have anything?
I'll say, no.
All right, Madam Chairman, at this point, I'll turn the chairmanship back to you until we can proceed to 2.4.
Will you ask the FinCom if they have any questions?
I'm sorry.
They're here,
Thank
the
you.
Finance Committee.
Thank you.
Yeah. A figure? What about your budget? What figure are you at? The amount of money?
Bottom line budget figure.
Yeah.
The bottom, I don't have them totaled all together. I have 6 different budgets that we go. For the town clerk budget, it's just under 113,000. For elections, it's 11,500. For my registrars, it's 2320. My census street listing budget is at 3,300. Burial agent is 136, and parking clerk is 59. I don't know what the total is, so.
Yeah. Who's our, we have a parking clerk?
Yes, me.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right, thanks.
The Finance Committee all set this time? Do you have more questions?
That's for now.
For now.
For now, we're
We'll
set.
get,
We'll get
the budget.
Right.
Yeah, we'll
Okay.
get you going.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, fine.
Thanks.
Thank you.
You're welcome, thank you. Are we handling questions from the audience, Madam Chairman?
No, I don't think so. I think this is just for,
Informational.
Yeah.
There will be a public hearing.
There will be a public hearing in the future.
yeah, for the whole budget.
This is
together.
just to start the process of information. Thank you. At this time, I transfer the chairmanship back to Carolyn Smart for 2.4. Thank you.
Okay, Barb Tierney, our tax collector treasurer, is with us. She did a good job for the first time out.
She did. Thank you, Jim. He handed me my mission statement on his phone because I left it downstairs, so I can read from it. For the Treasurer's Collector's Office, our mission statement is to uphold the legal requirements mandated by Massachusetts general laws and the town's bylaws while providing the highest level of service possible to the Townsend residents. Our department description, it's a bit lengthy because we have the tax side and the treasurer side, but the Treasurer and Tax Collector Office serves as custodian for all town monies, as well as cash management, debt management, and investment management. The Treasurer is responsible for the tax title collection process. The Treasurer performs these functions using best practices, a financial advisor, a tax title attorney, and investment firm, along with participation in the Massachusetts Collectors and Treasurers Association education program to obtain certifications for both treasurer and collector, attending various seminars and conferences, and continued review of changes to laws and procedures through methods as periodicals. The tax collector is responsible for managing and directing tax collection procedures to include real estate, personal property, motor vehicle excise, betterment, Title V, and water liens. Our fiscal 17 accomplishments so far is we have are streamlining the payroll process, development of a tax reconciliation process within our office. We performed a conversion to a new payroll software to allow better access and safe storage of information. Implementation of a streamlined turnover and month-end process to allow for easier entry of data as well as faster research for information and a cleaner reconciliation process. Our fiscal 18 goals are to continue to improve reconciliation and other internal processes, rearrange the office structure to allow for a better sight line to receive residents as well as better utilize the space, and continuing our education to provide high-quality service to our Townsend residents. And that's that part. Thank you. And as for the budget, I did hand over two. I handed over a level funded budget as requested. However, I also handed one that did give step increases to my 2 staff members as well as myself. They have not had a level step increase in quite a few years. I think they're worth having it. I also, on the budget, you'll see that I was able to pull money from our professional and technical services budget because of the fact that there are many things we're now able to do in our office as we're more fully staffed, and it pretty much offsets that cost. I am flexible with those level increases as we go into discussions in the future. Other than that, my budget is level funded. And my bottom line budget for my department for fiscal as level funded would be $204,292.62. Do you want that copy?
Sure. I like the 62.
Yeah, like the 62 cents.
You were emailed all those.
They were sent electronically.
Right, I have them, but I didn't bring it.
Okay, yeah, I think they were just emailed
Yeah.
earlier, so that's
We got emailed.
I did make a copy. So this is the one I was requesting, and then that's the level funding. I'm sorry, I only brought one extra copy.
It's okay.
Okay.
When all of these budgets get incorporated into the main budget sheet that Jim is currently working on, we'll have an open discussion, discuss it as a whole, but the concept with this was just to introduce the departments, let them know what their goals are, their needs are, and if you had any questions, regarding their office.
Very good. Yep. Yeah, so no decisions are made, but I just wanted to point out that our staff in my office has become a wonderful team. They worked very hard. We've working very hard together, and I think they're invaluable, and I'm hoping we can continue that by giving them what they need. Thank you.
Do you have any questions? Gordon?
I don't, Madam Chair.
Just a comment, just to highlight again, you're recommending step increases for the employees, including yourself.
Yes.
But that's not new money. You're talking about reallocating what you were otherwise spending outside on consulting services.
Yes.
You're doing that work in-house now, so you reallocate that into the salary line.
Yes, a large portion of it is, yeah.
Finance Committee, did you have any?
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Barb.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Am I all set?
You're all set.
Get back down to work.
And we're really running ahead of schedule, Rich, so you can go up, or we could do some of our meeting business.
It
It's
came
your
up,
call.
I'm ready to go if you're ready to go.
So we'll move our 7 o'clock up to 6:35.
Wow.
Yeah. Wasn't sure how long to give folks, it's the first time we've done it, but...
So I've just got a quick outline as what I'm going to talk about as far as the budgets go.
Maybe you keep us here just
I'll keep you here forever.
Thank you.
Just so we can all keep up with what I'm going to talk
I
about.
have an extra one here.
Just 2 finance committee?
No,
I think it's Sam, too.
The finance? Yep. So, I'm going to run off.
Yep, well, you gave me 2, so there's spare.
I'm going to move up front, though.
All right, so just to go over what I've got is that current budget that I submitted, it's a level funded budget, that's per the budget memo. One of the things I'd like to request to do is to put my administrative assistant back to a 30-hour work week. During my tenure, the position has always been 30 hours, but during the economic downturn, the former town administrator recommended that we reduce the hours for that position to 26, and that was in the FY14 budget. And the economy has picked up greatly since then, so I'd like to get that position back to 30 hours if that's possible. I broke it down into what the hours would be for the year, which is another 208 hours. Based on a current rate of pay, it would increase the payroll for the building department by $4,300. But then I also went down and showed you the increase in permits of how many we had been doing since 2012, 13, 14, and so on. And then I also showed what we've been bringing in for revenue and showing that everything is increasing quite a bit since that cut of those positions. Another thing that we should be looking at is to what we pay the wiring and plumbing and gas inspectors. They bring in a lot more money than what we're paying them. Those positions haven't really increased to go along with their workloads. So that's something that should be looked at.
Wiring inspector has an annual stipend of $12,413. I think that's what John Pelletier used to get paid. It's been pretty
It's not too much different because they, several years when everybody else got a cost of living, the inspectors didn't get one. But to show you the disparity on wiring permits, 2015 he brought in $28,000, and you paid him $12,000. Last year, in 2016, he brought in $26,000 in fees. We used to try and keep that line items to about 80% of the revenue. So it's out of whack by quite a bit right now.
Not much different from the plumbing inspector either.
Yeah, the plumbing inspector could go up as well. He's had some good years in there. I got another note on here is another thing that we need to look at is to, as far as the wire and plumbing and gas inspectors, whether or not you want to do a revolving fund account and pay them a percentage of the fees. I'm not sure if that's something the town would want to look at on the inspectors.
Generally wouldn't, because that then segregates those funds that might otherwise be able to be used elsewhere in the budget. I mean, I think keying it to a percentage is a good standard to try, but I wouldn't recommend segregating the funds and locking them down in a revolving.
Okay. So try to do a cost analysis of what an average is, and then come back with a proposal on that.
Are you going to speak to the solar project potential impact with your wiring inspector?
Yeah, that was next on my list, is that another thing that we need to consider is we have two solar projects, two large ground mount solar projects coming up. They will be sizable permit fees and a sizable workload for the wire inspector, and we should try to figure out a means of compensating him for all the time that he'll have to put in on both those projects. They will involve a lot of inspections. I don't know if that would be similar to the high school project, a memorandum of agreement sort of thing, so it'd be above and beyond his normal compensation if you would bill by the hour.
We wouldn't have a funding source for something like that, though, and it's not an appropriated line item. When do you expect these solar projects to start going?
Sometime in FY18.
Oh, so it will be for next year, so you can do a supplemental appropriation under wire inspector for those projects if that's the route we went in.
Well, it'll be on this upcoming budget cycle, so
yes,
sometime within this calendar year, they should be starting.
Oh, so they're actually going to be starting before July 1st.
Madam Chair, one way I've seen that addressed in some communities is when you look at that 80% or 75% key to the permit fee, it's easy to look at a projection of what the standard has been. You've done that now, and we can see that electrical has been, 22, 26, 28. So we have a decent idea what to budget if we were going to key it at 75 or 80%. What I've seen with large ground mount solar projects is, because there are significant revenues that come into the town for those fees, is doing it a year after the fact, because you can't really predict if you're going to get a project like that, but you will know this year. We will know there were none last year. Next year's budget, we will know there will likely have been two that brought in this amount of money, and you can then roll that into that same keying at the 75 or the 80%, or whatever metric you pick. But you're doing it a year after the fact, so you actually know that the money has come in.
So you're paying him essentially in a future year for previous year work?
In effect, yeah.
So he's going to do a considerable amount of work and he's not going to be compensated for it in the same year that he does the work?
That's how I've seen it done, because you don't know from year to year. As we're building this budget now, we don't know what that amount of money for those permit fees, which are above and beyond the usual and customary, are going to be.
What if we did something like an estimated revenue source from the solar and did a warrant article? Can you do that where they're a stipend employee, a warrant article in case the additional...
Dance party?
Took me right off track. An additional appropriation of warrant articles so that they're not suffering financially during the year that they're actually conducting the work?
I mean, that becomes a question for the town accountant about her level of comfort with an estimated revenue.
Yeah.
Against which you're going to set this warrant article. So, but we can, I just think it was important to bring that up.
Right.
That's a considerable amount of work.
We just did this, though, with the high school. Would you be wanting to recommend a similar
Well, the high school, there's an additional fee that came in, that's in a revolving fund, and that's...
Yeah, set up a
So
revolving.
that one is set up for
Okay.
revolving
So
fund,
that's
and I understand the
different.
point that we won't have a revolving fund for this. I guess the downfall of paying the person the year after he did the work is what happens if the person's no longer there. What if he leaves a position or something, then
Yeah.
he did all that extra work without any compensation for his time?
He's got to pay his bills.
But it's not unlike, certain departments, certain employees earn a holiday differential for prior year, and they get paid, the following year for what they previously earned.
Can we stop that practice?
There's a couple that are still doing it, that are still going. So, I mean, there are examples where that's been done, and if somebody leaves, they're owed their retro. No different than if we have a union agreement that we've finalized and there were employees that were employed during the time period that we've settled the agreement that are no longer here, they still get what they would have otherwise been entitled to. There's a couple of ways to look at it.
I think,
Is there a means to, give them an hourly wage while, if they're working? I mean, how many hours do you think that might be?
they're not on a set weekly.
But, I mean, for the total hours, do you have a guesstimate?
A project I've seen in another community, the wire spectrum was over there probably 3 to 4 times a week, once it got going. Hour each time, so he could be adding 3 to 4 hours per week once it gets going.
Again, the underlying issue is we would need funds.
Rather than a fee, an hourly...
Have an appropriation, though.
Yeah, you'd have to have an appropriation.
Well, I mean,
hourly.
we would. That's what, I mean...
But you'd have to do, when you do an appropriation for a salary line item, you need to know how many hours a week you're paying him for. So if 1 week he's working 20 hours and the next week he's only working 10, it would be difficult to budget for that within a...
Well, Rich and I can work on this.
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be a way to pay him before...
We just kind of wanted to get it out on the floor, that this is something new that we've not experienced before, that we should expect to be wrestling with over the next couple of weeks or a month or two.
Right. Just one other note that we're also looking at our permit fees to see if we're in line with other communities. I put forth a proposal to change the plumbing and gas fees. I think that might have got postponed because of...
No,
It's on here, we can move it up.
Oh, that's on it?
It's on our agenda.
Okay.
We can move it up while you're here. Did you want to go over the bottom dollar for our FinCom here of your budget? Do you have a copy of your budget with you?
Is that it? Not sure.
17.
Yeah, it's printed out kind of.
Is this the 107,989?
That would be the building department.
Oh, you're looking for the other.
Yeah, it didn't print out correctly.
So total anticipated for the building department be 104,593, and again, that was based on level funded, so that doesn't account for wage increases.
Or additional hours.
For additional hours, correct. So that was again the level funded budget. The total expected budget for the gas inspector was $5,533. Total for the plumbing inspector, $7,839. No, I'm sorry, $9,419. Seal and weights and measures, $4,444. And on the wire inspector, $15,025.
That's a stipend and expenses.
Correct, stipend and expenses.
Any questions?
Madam Chair.
FinCom?
Okay, so on the stipend, it says annual stipend, so no matter how many hours he works, he just gets that amount.
Correct.
Okay, so you're putting in 15 for this year?
I believe so.
Well, that included your expenses,
That's
too.
included in the expenses.
For his reports and office supplies and things.
Okay,
I think his stipend was 12,000,
yeah, it was 12,000.
whatever.
Yeah, base wages are $12,894.51.
Yeah.
Expenses another $14.80. Which brings that to $14,374.51. And then there's a small wage for an alternate inspector.
And that's the same for the gas
Yes.
and plumbing. Okay, so there's no set hours.
No set hours.
All right.
They call and ask him to come to a house, and he goes. When they pull
And that's
permits.
the only job he has?
Any particular days he goes, or is it any day that?
The
Really?
water inspector does them on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and the plumbing inspector has a little bit more time, so he does them throughout the week. He does them Mondays through Friday.
Yeah, and there's no set hours.
No set hours.
They have to make appointments with the builder or the commercial project or whatever, so it's not,
And he doesn't have another job, right?
I'm sorry?
They don't have another job.
Yeah, they both full-time tradespeople.
I don't think they could live off 12,000.
No.
As an electrician. And carry their insurances.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Can I just ask a quick question?
Sure.
Is the stipend that the inspectors make, is that pretty uniform for our area? Or is it,
No, it's...
I mean, are they,
It's all over the place. Some communities pay the inspector based on the fees.
but I mean, we have a stipend of 12,000 for one. Is that, compared to other communities, are we lower or higher, or are we kind of right where we should be?
I'm not totally sure. I think we're probably up on the low side for what we pay them, for what they're bringing in right now.
So would the town or the board ever suggest getting them where they need to be?
Well,
Then-
that's what we were just talking about.
Well,
is that-
no, but I mean like annual instead of like a one-time,
That's what the discussion is starting.
okay.
Well, we did go through a lull with the recession. We kind of had a lull, and they were still bringing in more than what we were paying them. But usually every couple of years, I try to take a look at it and average out where they're at and try to take 80%.
Well, I guess I was just getting to the point with that solar thing, and you're discussing possibly getting some separate payment for that. If, we got them where they're supposed to be, some years it's chickens, some years it's feathers,
Right.
Some years you do good, some you don't.
Right.
But if maybe that would fix the problem and you don't have to delve into that issue, you could solve it, maybe just another point of view, that's all.
Thank you.
Rich, since you're here, do you want to address, what number is it, 4.4? Talk about the revised gas and plumbing permit fee schedule you?
Yeah, I don't have a copy with me, but
Yeah.
thank you. So Janet, the department assistant, took a look at other communities as to what fee schedules were for plumbing and gas. She found that we're a little bit on the low side, and we always try to be average. We don't try to be the highest or the lowest, we try to be average. So this proposal is for a slight increase, and also to change the formatting as to make the fee schedule a little bit more clearer to the end user, because we found that people seem to have a lot of questions as to what the fee truly should be. So the new format addresses some of those concerns that she's encountered through the years, that, what should the fee really be, and she kind of outlined a lot clearer, in my opinion. So that's what this new fee schedule is all about, and again, a slight increase on some things, and looking for the board to input as to whether or not we want to increase those fees slightly to get us into comparable with other communities.
I guess we go by your recommendation, Rich. I think if it's comparable, you did the work for it, it's comparable to the other communities to increase the revenue source. It does make it a lot clearer. I remember some of the permits are calculated on, what is it, kilowatts or whatever?
On the wire. And this is plumbing and gas, but this one is plumbing and gas. And we've always had a base application fee, and then you add on per fixture device that you're doing. Some people thought that the base included one fixture, and it doesn't. So, she gives an example that the base residential fee would be $50 plus $8 for each fixture, and then she clarifies it says a minimum $58. So, and then she has a couple little footnotes on there that explains out what the fee is based on, number of inspections, and so on. Some of the things that we try to do as well is keep the cost for replacement items low. If you're just replacing a gas hot water heater, it's only $20, or replacing a dishwasher, it's a reduced fee. Same with an existing gas appliance, a cook stove or a gas dryer, we keep that fee low, just because it's a simple swap out.
Thank you for doing the work.
Okay.
So I'd entertain a motion to accept as attached.
And I guess the only other thing is we need an effective date. When do we want this effective?
When do you want it effective?
Let's go 2 weeks out so we can notify people.
You could even do April 1st, so people have a month.
We'll go April 1st. Not to be a fool's day or anything, but...
No pun intended.
Make a motion that we approve the changes to the gas and plumbing permit fees as presented, as attached, with an effective date of April 1st, 2017.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Thank you, Rich.
Okay, thank you all.
Thanks so
Jim, we'll get together on the other items.
Thank you, Finance Committee. So, Section 3, appointments of officials and personnel. 3.1, reappoint John Whittemore as a fence viewer for a term effective February 14, 2017 through June 30, 2017. I take it we can change that to the 28th. That was from the original agenda, I think. Yeah, all right, fine.
Don't change it.
To today's date. This was originally on the old agenda.
Okay, effective.
Yeah.
Okay, today.
Today.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we reappoint John Whittemore as fence viewer for a term effective February 28th through June 30th, 2017.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
3.2, appoint Karen Chapman to the Community Development Strategy Committee effective February 14th.
Make a motion to appoint Karen Chapman to the Community Development Strategy Committee effective February 28th, 2017.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
4.2, review, approve, and sign budget process and policy. This is what we've been discussing for like 2 or 3 months. The process is all outlined. I know we've discussed it many times at previous meetings, and now it's just put into the actual policy booklet. Does my board have any questions? It's the exact same that's put on the agenda.
And this goes along with what the Collins Center...
They developed it. They developed the budget process and the budget policy, well, in conjunction with us.
It's all connected.
All connected.
Okay, make a motion that we approve and sign the budget process and policy.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
question on the policy that you signed. How does that get communicated to everyone?
Well, I'm sure that Kelly will forward it off to everybody. It'll be put up on our website.
Okay.
We've discussed it numerous times. Yeah.
Thank you.
And I jumped over one. My apologies. That was 4.2. I jumped over 4.1, and it's to review and sign Chapter 90 reimbursement for mill and patch sections of selected roads in the amount of $13,773.26.
This big packet?
That's that big packet.
How many trees was this? Okay, make a motion to approve and sign Chapter 90 reimbursement regarding mill and patch sections of selected roads in the amount of $13,773.26.
Second.
All those in favor? The account will be
Is
happy we get the money.
this what I call the pothole brigade?
We had previously approved it, now we're just getting our money back.
Oh, that's right, okay.
Yep.
Oh. Is it? Is it?
Could you give this to Kelly, Madam Chairman, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
All right, 4.3, review comment on a zoning board mandatory referral for 1 Sauna Row Road for a variance. And I've heard from many that variances are difficult to get. Looks like there's going to be a public hearing on March 1st, 2017. The applicant is requesting his driveway entrance be... The applicant is requesting to cite his driveway entrance within 50 feet of the corner of Saunda Row Road and Vinton Pond Road. And I'm sure all the abutters have been notified, so I personally don't have any comments. I don't know how my board...
No comment, Madam Chairman.
For the public hearing? Yeah. Public hearing is, like I said, March 1st, 2017, for the zoning board. You will decide no comment? Okay, the next is view, discuss zoning bylaws, propose amendments to the medical marijuana, large ground-mounted solar, and accessory apartments community development. The public hearings for this were conducted last night. So we won't be sending any comment. However, Cindy King actually attended the hearing, so if you'd like to talk about it, go ahead.
Yep, I attended the public hearings for the public hearing for the number of proposed bylaws. There's a good group and a lot of discussion. I think that the planning board was pleased with the number of people that made a lot of comments on all of them. And I think there's a couple of them that's going to make some more changes to some of the bylaws before they get to the
They're going to town council,
town council and then before they go.
who basically gave their amendments to what was drafted last night. And a lot of people that are here were actually there, and we appreciate those people that came and gave their comments.
It's good, so they're on their way to be
This is also a result of MRPC grant fund to help write the bylaws.
Great.
Thank you, Cindy. Okay, 4.6, a set date for a special town meeting and vote to open and close the warrant. As my board members are aware, we received a petition to call a special town meeting, and we need to call it within 45 days. So I kind of looked at our calendar, and I believe the last day would be March 30th or something, but I was thinking we'd call it for March 28th. That would allow the warrant to be posted on March 14th, which is only a couple of weeks away, and we'd have voter registration on March 17th. My board members don't have an issue with that. Does that sound reasonable? We do have to confirm with the moderator. But
I sent him an
we could
email.
have the deputy moderator as well.
I sent him an email just prior to the meeting, and he hasn't responded back, so we'll just...
So
What are the
I
dates?
guess we would actually, well, the town meeting would be March 28th.
Okay.
It's a Tuesday evening. The warrant would be posted on March 14th. Voter registration would be March 17th. And we need to discuss the warrant, so we'd officially open the warrant today. The warrant's got to be drafted by Mr. Kryler and posted by the 14th. As you know, we've received email, we've had several article requests, so looks like it's shaping up to be a pretty big warrant. When do you want to close the warrant, Jim, so you have enough time to prepare it?
It'd be good to have all of next week to start putting it together, so I don't know if the 72-hour window, close by close of business Friday, if that makes sense. I mean, we know the petitioners who have petitioned for the meeting, their articles are already in hand, so it won't prejudice them at all. We have had a file on hand from departments that are waiting for a special town meeting, so we have those articles on hand. So it would basically be anybody getting notice this evening that might have an interest in having something submitted. They'd have the 72 hours to do so by the close of business on Friday.
Do you think next week, because that's the 7th next week, or the 6th, right? Would we be able to kind of go over a draft of the warrant? Because we've got to post it by the 14th, so it's really kind of under the gun. Okay.
I would imagine Monday, I mean, I've already started building it based on what we already know.
Yeah, we had a lot sitting there, so.
Yeah, I'd say a draft could definitely be together for Tuesday next week.
Okay. So I would entertain a motion to call the special town meeting, if everyone agrees with the date.
Let me just motion for the date of the meeting or the other dates too?
No, the dates don't need to be in the motion, just for the
Okay, I
date.
make a motion that we schedule the special town meeting for March 28th.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And I would entertain a motion to open the warrant effective February 28th and to close it March 3rd at 4 p.m. Friday the 3rd. Yes.
Motion to open the special, the warrant for February 28th and close on close of business March 3rd.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
4.7, acknowledge receipt of open meeting law complaint, empower the town administrator to respond.
I'm sorry, Carolyn, I just wanted to repeat on those, and I had one other question regarding special town meetings, and Kim is...
Okay, what did you want to know, Jane? What did you want to know, Jane?
Will there also be, speaking for the Council on Aging, will there also be the usual special town meeting within the annual town meeting? So this isn't, you're not trying to collect all of these and jam them in?
No.
Okay, because the Council on Aging will have a warrant article.
Yeah, they usually, that's typical.
Okay.
You want to get those articles in
Just
soon,
wanted to
though, because I think
clarify that we still had time for other, whatever it is, town business
Yeah.
for the special
So
and
the
annual.
warrant will be posted by March 14th, and voter registration will be on March 17th.
Thank you.
Okay.
This was a question on those bylaws that we addressed
Mhm.
last night, and I think it was John Barrett, actually. And we were hoping that the solar bylaw would hopefully make the special meeting.
I think that was on the list we got today, wasn't it? So we've
Yeah,
already got
there's the 4 of them. Will
Yeah.
you leave a space for that?
Mhm.
Because we're just waiting for council to get
No,
that.
we had a list from land use that came in today or yesterday with 5 or 6 of them on there, so those are...
Okay. All right. I just wanted to make sure that they...
We have a revolving fund that needs to be set up for the school resource officer. We had the land on it. We've had some things that have been sitting here for a
Okay.
while, so...
Fire department easement.
I just
Yeah,
didn't
the
know
fire
if-
department easement has to go on.
So will you have a meeting next week to...
Yeah, I think we'll probably be meeting most every Tuesday. We have to post it by the 14th, so I don't know if the warrant will be completely finished. We might have to approve it outside of a meeting and then have the final on the 14th to discuss. There's a lot of articles. We'll figure it out, though. Hopefully it'll be pretty well together by next week. If not, maybe we can have a special meeting, because you can't really wait till the 14th. I think that's a Tuesday. So.
I was just thinking for the public to have at least a draft of what the items are.
Yeah, that'll be next week. 4.7, acknowledge receipt of an open meeting law complaint, empower the town administrator to respond. As my board knows, we received an open meeting law complaint from Linda Johansson. It's going to be responded by March 7th. It's concerning outstanding minutes, and hopefully the release of all the minutes we have will satisfy that. So we have not drafted a response yet, so if my board would entertain a motion to empower the town administrator to respond, and we can read it in the record at the next meeting.
I make a motion that we empower the town administrator to respond to the open meeting law complaint.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Review accept grant awarded to the Townsend Fire EMS in the amount of $6,547 for their SAFE program.
Make a motion that we accept the grant awarded to the fire EMS in the amount of $6,547 for the SAFE program.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We're down to our work session. 4.1, Town Administrator updates and reports.
Very briefly, Madam Chair, the majority of my updates and reports will be in the executive sessions scheduled for later this evening, if you do call them. One thing in particular, though, that I know has been kicking around for longer than I've been around is the generator for Atwood Acres. Just wanted to update the board that the bid process has been complete, an award has been made, and once the weather allows, the concrete pad will be poured. And speaking with John just yesterday about it, they expect that inside of a month here we should be operational. So something that was originally thought of and then thought couldn't be done, I think to your persistence, it's actually getting done. So it'll be to the benefit of everybody at Atwood Acres.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
Board of Selectmen's updates, announcer reports.
I don't have anything.
Gordon?
I don't have any, Madam Chairman.
The only thing I had is there is a budget meeting this Thursday with the school for the Selectmen and FinCom members, so I'm hoping to have down at the high school.
Post the meeting.
No, it's not posted.
Oh,
It's informational, so...
But that's the same as last year, though, isn't it? Didn't we post? Because we're going to be discussing the budget, aren't we?
We did post last year just in case two of you showed.
It's too late.
Draws.
I mean, you can go and listen as long as you're not participating in the conversation. I don't think the FinCom's posted for it either. So.
Did you post for the joint? They posted. Everybody's posted but us.
Oh,
great.
Well, there you go. FinCom is posted. We'll send you.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Madam Chair, the bulletin that went out for the school said it was a joint meeting.
It's a joint meeting.
Yeah.
So I think you do have to have it posted.
Yeah, if we all go, all three.
Unless
too late.
Joanna posted it for everybody.
Yeah.
About that.
Unless it says in conjunction with, then it would be covered.
Regardless, I'll be there, and if a member wants to attend as well, we'll just coordinate it offline because it's a scheduling thing that we can talk about.
All right.
Madam Chairman, I'm sorry. I think I have another commitment that night. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
Tell you that.
That's fine. Yeah, at the high school, in the auditorium. 4.3, approval of meeting minutes. We have a full list of meeting minutes to approve.
Oh, yes. Here's my list.
Jody, Shanes, and Kelly have been working really hard to get them all caught up, and appreciate it.
I think that was a weekend where I was getting an agenda about every hour or so.
The only thing I do want to mention, some of them still say agenda. If you want to make sure they say minutes before you post them.
I went through it, and there's quite a few of them, but
Yeah.
Definitely.
I go online.
You ready?
Yeah.
All right. Make a motion that we approve the regular meeting minutes for the following dates: March 8th, 2016, March 24th, 2016, April 19th, 2016, May 3rd, 2016, May 17th, 2016, May 18th, 2016, October 11th, 2016, October 25th, 2016, November 1st, 2016, November 22nd, 2016, December 13th, 2016, June 14th, 2016, September 13th, 2016, August 9th, 2016, May 31st, 2016, May 10th, 2016, July 27th, 2016, July 26th, 2016, August 30th, 2016, and February 21st, 2017.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And if we could do a letter of appreciation to Jody. Yeah. We could do a letter of appreciation for Jody for doing all that. I know she accomplished all, the ones from last year. Very appreciated. Okay, review and sign payroll and bills payable warrants.
Motion to review and sign payroll and bills payable warrants and sign out of session.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, folks, this brings us to the executive session portion of our meeting. Thank you all for coming tonight. If you would like to...
Question.
Yes, Veronica?
Were there any executive session minutes
No,
that
those were all
were
regular.
approved?
Those were all regular session minutes that
They
we just
were
read.
all regular session minutes.
Mhm.
I have a public records request out for executive session minutes.
And I'm sure when they're approved, you'll receive them.
Madam Chair,
I've
she does have the
appealed it
draft.
twice.
Okay.
She does have the drafts.
Okay. All right.
Are those going to get posted online?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Madam Chair, you said you have, I know that you have 2 executive sessions. Is your plan not to come back into open session?
Yeah, and that'll be part of the motion that we're going to be adjourning right
So
from.
my assumption is that on those negotiations, you're not planning to sign any contracts because don't you have to come back? Okay.
And anything that would be approved in executive will go off to the unions anyway.
I thought the first one was with the fire chief.
It is.
Correct.
Yes, so we're not coming back to approve anything.
Okay, in other words, you're not planning on signing anything tonight?
No, it would be on a regular agenda item if we were going to do that.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, make a motion that we enter into executive session pursuant to General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A2, to discuss strategy or to conduct negotiations with non-union personnel with respect to the fire EMS chief.
Second.
No, keep going.
And to enter into executive session pursuant to General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining if an open meeting may have detrimental effect on the bargaining position and the chair so declares, with respect to the police union, telecommunications union, highway water union, supervisory union, and the fire union, and to adjourn from executive session.
And the chair does declare. So require a roll call vote?
Cindy King, yes?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Board? Folks, we're still in session, please, so we can hear each other. Thank you very much. Gordon Clark, yes.
Carolyn Smart, yes.
Okay, so we won't be coming back.
No.
Okay, thank you.
Thank